All right, bang, bang. Today is Thursday. It's February 25th. Welcome to the Dog Walk presented at Barstool Sports. My guest today is PJ. He's a former streets and sanitation worker for the city of Chicago. PJ, thanks for doing this. I had to bring you on, given the state of our city.
Your city's fucked.
Oh, are you gone? Are you out of here?
Oh, hell yeah. I'm in Cape Canaveral. You know what I do for excitement?
What's that?
I watch cruise. Well, there aren't any cruise ships now, but I'm right a half a mile from Port Canaveral. So I can watch cruise ships go out, rockets go off, because 10 miles north of there is, the Space Center, NASA.
Yeah. That's right.
Space Center. And I ride a bike on a beach every day.
Okay.
I mean, it's paradise. I mean, there's more cotton in a aspirin bottle than there are some of the bikinis down here.
I love it, PJ. I love it. So how long did you live in Chicago? What was your
60 years.
Okay.
I was born and raised. I was in the same zip code, 60655, Southwest Side.
There you go. What was the neighborhood over there?
Morgan Park, Mount Greenwood, Beverly.
Nice. Okay. So down in Cape Canaveral, like you said now. So streets and sanitation, how many years again?
I think it was 31 and a half, 32. Because I retired June 30th. So when you work for the city like that, you get credit for the extra 6 months.
Okay. And we got into it a little bit before the show, but can you just go down the list of kind of what you did for streets and san, how you got on and all that?
I got on, back about 83, 84 is a seasonal employee. Then I worked for what was called Curb and Gutter, which is street operations. We used to replace the curbs. Are you from Chicago?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So you know how we dig out the curbs and redo it. And then I got laid off. And that winter, I worked up at O'Hare Airport on the snow removal. And then the next spring I came back, I was with Department of Transportation, which was asphalt. So we would do the, street paving. There's like 20 or 30 bureaus. There's Bureau of Electricity, Bureau of Transportation. So we used to have at one time 2,500 drivers.
Ooh.
Okay. Well, you got the water department, aviation, sewer, streets and sand is probably the biggest. But I also work downtown for loop operations. I'd be driving that garbage truck up and down Michigan Avenue, LaSalle, Wentworth, all the streets down there.
So when it comes to you guys, like obviously you wear a lot of different hats, but when the winter came along and you guys had to hop in these plows to do snow removal, where does that rank as far as what you guys had to do? Was that the worst part of the job, or did you guys look forward to doing the plowing stuff? Did you like it?
I looked forward to it because I paid for both my kids' college. My daughter went to UNLV and my son's a graduate of the University of Iowa.
Oh, nice.
So I paid for, the out-of-state tuition. And the overtime was brutal, hard work, a lot of long hours. You never knew when you were going to work, because you could sit there and they say it might snow. You don't know, now your wife wants to go out to dinner and I can't go out. You can't have a cocktail, and then she'd be bitching, because, oh my God, it didn't snow. Well, how the hell am I supposed to know? I have to be ready. When you're a lead man, you're the first person on a lot. My lot was outside. When I left, I originally was 119th in Marshfield, then we moved to 120th in Peoria in the Roseland area, so it was outside. So my job was to get the truck started because they're diesel trucks.
What do you mean by being the lead man?
Okay, the lead man is we assign the equipment, the truck, to the route and the driver. And what we do is we mount the plows, we adjust the chains. If wipers fall off, we got spare wipers we can throw on. Our job is to make sure that truck can keep working and rolling. And, like I said, is the last winter, there's a lot of times that these guys they'll come on, they'll work 12 hours, they'll go home, another shift will come on. You have to go out there, you have to check all the fluids, trans, oil, power steering. You got to fill the radiator, the oil, the windshield solvent. They take a beating.
Yeah, they definitely do. I mean, was that so? What do you think was the worst part, though? Because you brought that up, and I think that's a thing that people don't realize more than anything is that when you're constantly on call, it affects your whole life, not just the hours that you're there.
It affects your whole family.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, the kids want to go do something, or you got to, my son was, played basketball in grade school, soccer and stuff like that, but soccer in high school, a lot of times you just couldn't go to the match,
Yeah.
Or the game.
Because you're just constantly waiting. So is that like city? You're just glued to the Weather Channel?
Yes. Yeah. You live by it.
Like Tom Skilling was just your guy?
Yeah.
And then
I actually talked to him once. He thought it was a good question. I asked him because we had a super hot summer that, and the lake didn't freeze, if that would affect the snow, because from Chicago that you can get lake effect snow.
Mm-hmm.
And you can be over in Cottage Grove and pick up 18 inches and get over to Western Avenue or Cicero and get a dusting.
Yeah.
For sure. It can be from the north side to the south side. There's 54,000 blocks in the city of Chicago that, have to be plowed. We do the mains first. And when the mains are done and the snow stops, then we have to go to and do the insides. 100% program would be 280 trucks. We run like a zone. We go 25, 50, and 100% programs.
Okay. And that's all depending on how bad it is, I assume.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And budget.
Yeah, budget.
I mean, now people don't realize we start the year with 425,000 tons of salt on the ground.
That's a lot of fucking salt, PJ.
We go through that shit a couple of times. We ran out of it.
Yeah.
I mean, when it gets bad, it got scary a few years ago before I retired, is because the Mississippi River froze, so they couldn't get the shit up on barges.
Yeah. How long will, if you got the whole back filled with salt and you're really getting after it, you're not stopping, how long will that load last?
Well, it depends, because you have an auger or a conveyor, I should say.
Yeah. Okay.
And it spits it out, and you have a chute. So you can open the chute 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 inches, and then you can turn up the conveyor from 1 to 10, and then you got the spinner that spins it onto the street. Yeah. And you can, that can go from 1 to 10. So, I mean, normally you could probably go a good 20, 30 minutes, but your route is normally probably about 5 miles tops. So you're going 2.5 miles, 4 miles one way, same back the other way.
Oh, yeah. That's not as big as I thought it would be.
As per se, what do you mean big? The routes?
Yeah, the routes.
Well, like a route, the one I had, it would go from 119th to 83rd and Western, and then you would come back on 83rd,
Okay. All right, yeah, so that makes sense.
And then, the one on 107th went from I-57 to the edge of the city. On 111th, that'd be Pulaski.
And then it's all based on kind of feel, or is it just like, hey, like if there's 6 inches, here's how much power you should use. Here's how much you should, pump that thing up to distribute the salt.
Yeah, you learn. There's no way of teaching it. The only way to learn how to do it is to actually go out and do it. I mean, I can tell you, the trucks, we would set the spinners, conveyors, all that at like 2 or 3, and then, the driver would, shit, those guys get tired. They turn that thing up to 10. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, you're just driving back and forth. You got so fed up with that shit because everybody wants to cut you off and give you the Teamster salute, Hey, go fuck yourself, Hey, I'm trying to keep the streets clean.
Yeah.
They all got to cut. It seems like every time it snows, everybody sleeps in 20 minutes later. So they're all in a fucking hurry. They're all cutting in front of you. Stay behind the truck. Let us do our shit. If I'm stuck in traffic, the shit ain't getting plowed.
Yeah, that's a great point. And then, so we talk about watching the weather and just waiting for that call. How much does how quick is that fire alarm where like the mayor panics and everyone's in disarray? Because it seemed like this week, in the last couple of weeks, I should say, everybody was under fucking, it was just high tensions all across the city.
Well, the commissioners have their own weather system hooked up. They have access to it. They get notified. We have sensors in the ground. So they'll tell you, like, okay, the ground's starting to freeze. And, like I said, a couple times under some commissioners, we were out there probably 2 hours before it snowed. People, well, what are you doing out here? Well, we're getting to the routes, and then other times they wait. And a couple times they waited and they got fucked.
All right, hey, let's take a quick break here and let's talk about our friends at Trifecta Nutrition. You didn't think I was going to let you go this episode without talking about you, did you? Because I'm not, because Trifecta Nutrition, they're on board with Barstool Chicago. They're on board with the dog walk, and it is the best meal prep on earth. All the meal prep they plan, they're created by the chefs and nutritionists to help people get into the best shape of their lives. Trifecta makes meal prep not suck. All the meals are backed by nutrition science and taste great, making it simple to get into the best shape of your life. Trifecta makes eating health not suck. So you don't have to suffer to continue to eat healthy. It's convenient. You could save time rather than having to spend hours meal prepping every week. You could stick to your nutritional goals. They have the meals that have precise macros people need to gain such as weight and meet their physical goals. Science-backed nutrition. All of Trifecta's meals allow scientific nutritional principles. The food is quality, and that's what's most important. Obviously, it's fresh food. It's farm to fork supply chain, never frozen, organic produce, gluten-free. Meat is the animal welfare level 5, which is the highest possible, and it's fully cooked food. Okay. No wasted time cooking and cleaning. You could just heat and get healthy. Meal Prep Elite uses athletes use it as well. Meal prep plans that, they're vegan, paleo, keto, many more. So whatever you need, I know everyone has their little specified diet. So there's just a ton of ways to go about it. To get your hands on these and shop the meal plans, you get 40% off, which is an insane deal. All you got to do is go to trifectanutrition.com/dogwalk for this exclusive offer. Once again, that's trifectanutrition.com/dogwalk. Hop in, go get your meal plans at 40% off with Trifecta Nutrition. All right, let's hop back into the show. Now, did you ever feel bad, PJ, just absolutely bulldozing some of these cars on the side of the road with the snow?
Oh yeah. I had an asshole neighbor. He was a doctor. All right. I'm a garbage truck driver. Well, and I can afford to live next door to him, but my wife also taught for CPS. So, we were dual income, but he didn't like it because I would park my garbage truck near there. So, he was fucking with me one time. So the one time, and it wasn't me that did it, I made a couple calls to my friend, and we had a heavy snowstorm, and shit, I think it was May, and he was still digging his car out.
What kind of car are we talking, PJ? Nice Jag. Mercedes?
Oh, Jag. Brand new Jag. But Jags have Jags.
I like that. He ain't seeing that shit till spring.
I laughed my ass off. I'd come home in my beer, because I'm at 120th in Peoria. It's not a nice neighborhood. So I'm never going to buy a nice new car because, I could be out on the street or something and the shit gets stolen.
Yeah. Did you ever see that video of that guy in Boston who was just actually he was making that video? And I think he actually ended up getting fired because he was just, bulldozing people. He was doing his job. He wasn't doing anything wrong, but he was having a little too much fun with it, I guess. I don't know if you saw that one.
No, I didn't. But there was a guy back before I started. What was it? The blizzard of 79 that got Ayatollah Jane elected or whatever. Mm-hmm. But it was a heavy equipment operator, and he went nuts with a grader and destroyed 17 vehicles or whatever. I think they shot him. Jesus. You get whacked out.
Wow. What do you mean?
Well, you're just working such long hours. Mm-hmm. The pressure is unbelievable, but we do get a good salary, and we pay for our pensions. It's not like everybody thinks, you got a city pension. No, they take 9.5% out of my paycheck, every paycheck. So, and I liked it. It beat the hell out of me, but my kids loved it because I was gone.
What's that was big, actually, PJ. You bring that up. I remember I had a kid in high school who it was always like a thing. His dad was a plow guy. It was always like when it snows, parties at his house because his dad's out taking care of the streets.
Oh, my kid loved it. My kid didn't even know who I was till he was about 14.
Oh yeah, and you say guys are out of it because they're working these long hours. What's the protocol on that? If you see a dude who's genuinely looks like he's fucked up and he's maybe not a substance thing, but he's just too tired. He's overtired. Do you got to tell someone or do you?
Hell yeah. Yeah. And we get drug tested.
Yeah.
The reason I'm down here is my in-laws retired down here, and I would come down here and I'd always tell the bosses, I'm smoking a joint. I'm on vacation. I'm smoking a joint. And you know what? Every Monday when I came back from vacation, I'd get piss tested. But the beautiful thing about a piss test is they had to drive me down to Mercy Works at 24th there, where it used to be 24th in Michigan or King Drive. and then they'd have to bring in a foreman, and then you'd have to wait, fill out the paperwork, then you'd have to piss, and then I'm not going to blow a pension, but it'd be like a 5-hour vacation. So I wouldn't be sitting in a hot ass garbage truck at that time. I'd be sitting in an air conditioned medical place.
Yeah, you just get a quick couple hours off.
You got to beat them at their own game.
And I say this too because in the snow, it's just so dead, and it's just so like the city's so still. Yes. How often are people just kind of like, you hit something, you keep going? I feel like people are backing into brick buildings on accident. There's it's like anything goes almost.
Yeah, it was kind of funny. I had one of the guys that worked for me that he had a cul-de-sac. So he plows down into the cul-de-sac, and then he raises the plow and goes to turn around and accidentally hit the lever and didn't realize the plow came back down and he was over a hydrant. Well, when he tried to make the next turn, up came the hydrant.
Oh, shit.
Now you got a water main all over the fucking place. So, it was interesting. I liked it. I had a good time. There's a lot of great people. I mean, at the end of my career, I was moving equipment for them throughout the city. So I got to see all the different neighborhoods. And then you would meet the people there, and you would find out the best dives, for some of the restaurants, those little grease ball stands and stuff like that. I mean, you get the best beef sandwiches, the best tacos, the best burritos. Yeah,
for sure. And what about the favors though, PJ? How often is that be like, hey, we got to go get my,
like Christmas time after it snowed, or I should say after a snow program, I'd walk into a bar. I didn't have to buy a drink.
Yeah.
People, I've been getting policemen, firemen calling for me. Hey, can you get a plow down the street? I can't get to work and stuff like that. And, if you ever got caught doing that, they'd suspend you or fire you. But, some shit, when a police commander calls, you got to do what you got to do. It's better to know the judge than the law.
I love it, PJ. Because was there a lot of flagging down too? Like I feel like there's a bunch of thing where it's like a guy's drive through, where he's like, hey, I'll give you this.
Oh yeah, but you don't. I mean, people used to throw shit at us because the plows, 95% of them only go to the right. So you push to the curb lane. Well, people that had driveways like in Beverly and Mount Greenwood, they'd shovel that shit out there, and because it stops snowing. Well, we'd still be working on the mains. Once we got the mains open, then we'd come down the street. Well, if we're going south, it's going to the right. And if you lived on the right side of the street, you're fucked.
What's the kind of craziest thing you've seen out plowing?
The craziest thing that ever happened to me was, like I said, I'm from the southwest side, about 106th and Rockwell, Tallman area. There is a place called Monroe Park. And then there's a set of railroad tracks that run down there. And if you didn't know the area, we try to keep our drivers in their area so they understand it. But if you didn't know the area, well, we got some guy from the east side. He thought the street went through and he didn't know. Well, when he hit it, he got the plow stuck between the railroad tracks.
Ooh.
And that's like a no-no.
Ooh.
And then he went to raise the plow and he started raising the railroad tracks. Well, shit, before I knew it, they had everybody in the world out there except I was in the office, and they called me, get out of here. If I get out here, there's 20 fucking commissioners out there. Everybody a dog and pony show. All you had to do is push the truck up a little bit, put the apex back in, and lift the plow up. And they thought I was some kind of rocket science.
Yeah, just fucking janking things up. Now, is that when you like make a big pothole, do you feel that big chunk come up?
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. You feel everything, and like I said, you can actually see when a guy's plowing, whether he knows what he's doing or not. I've seen people put plow down when the streets are fucking completely dry, and you just burn the rubber up and it's just like,
yeah,
it'll knock your fillings out.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting because you see all these big potholes. I was just always like, well, you know when you're doing them, huh? And it's just like, oh, that's not going to be good. Is there any way to prevent that?
No, because what happens is, we use the salt. The salt turns into a brine, which melts the snow and then the ice, and it turns water. And then when the streets are done, that water will freeze. and it's freezing contraction, I mean, there's so many potholes in Chicago. It's ridiculous. Florida, I've seen one down here, and I drive over to Tampa, which is 300 miles away all the time. And you never see potholes here.
Damn.
But we get hurricanes, so that's a different story.
Yeah, there's definitely the trade-offs wherever you live. There's always something, right?
Well, the one thing, you don't have to shovel sunshine.
That's true. That's true. So when you look up and you see us having this kind of thing, you're like, thank God I don't got to deal with it.
Oh, hell yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I sit there, I text my buddies all the time. What do you do? Well, I'm sitting at a tiki bar, pounding a couple beers. What are you doing?
What's the worst storm you remember doing?
Oh, I'd say about 98, 99.
Yeah.
I was in 4 of the 5 largest snowstorms the city ever had. The only one I probably 4 out of 6. I wasn't in 79 and I wasn't in 67, but everyone after that, because I started with the city about 82, 83, I got laid off a couple times, seasonal, bounced around. And then from like 85 to 2015, I was steady Eddie.
Yeah. Interesting. I know so much about like the private plow game. Did you ever do that for like a private company?
No.
Yeah. Because that's different, like with people's parking lots and businesses.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. They can make a ton of money doing that.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
I mean, we can make a ton of money. Like I said, it is if we had a good storm on the weekend, if I work 20 on a Saturday, that's 20 hours a time and a half. And if we work Sunday, that's another 20 hours at double time. That's a week's pay.
Oh yeah. That's what I mean. So many guys are doing it right now. They're working their balls off, and it's got to the point where I know our mayor now is freaking out. They're loading up dump trucks and they're dumping them in the river, in the lake. It's crazy.
Oh yeah. I would do that. See, the thing about a lead man is you would always get that extra bonus, whether you wanted it or not, you had to take it. So when all the shit's done and all done, we'd have to go downtown like the next day or at night. Because we would bring the high lifts in and graders, and we'd take all that shit and load it on trucks and dump it into the river.
Is there anything else here? We're near the end here, PJ. Is there anything else here that I didn't get to that people would find particularly interesting about the plow business, the plow game?
I don't really know. I mean, you can make a good living off of it. Any city job. Whether you're a labor, driver, engineer, electrician, we all get scale. So that's one good thing, but we all earn it. Everybody thinks you sit on your ass all day and do nothing, because these guys that I was with the equipment end of it, my last 25 years, but the normal guy that would come in that worked for me would drive a garbage truck. So, if we started at 7 or 6 in the morning, whatever time, they fluctuate their shifts. It might not snow to noon. Well, that guy's going to drive a garbage truck for 4 hours. And then they're going to cancel the garbage. And then he's going to, send them over to the plow lot, and he's going to get a plow and go. And then he's going to work probably at least through rush hour before you make a shift change. And it takes about 4 hours for the city of Chicago to make a shift change. So it's a heads or tails call. So, if you got 150 guys, should we let them go on the extra 2 or 3 hours? Or should we send them home and call in the other guys? And now, you're adding on an extra 4 hours worth of interval in time, because not everybody gets there at the right time. When they call you at 1 o'clock in the morning, some guys didn't get there till 2.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I had a garbage man on before, and he was not a fan of the garbage game. He was just
no. Yeah, but the garbage is good because when I started, it used to be cans. Now they're the carts. But I mean, those guys, they got a good job.
PJ, thanks a lot for doing this. I really appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you. And I hope your show hits it forever.
Awesome. I appreciate it. Thanks a lot. All right, everybody. That's it for today. We'll be back tomorrow. We'll see you then.